Hi everybody, this is Ann. If you're someone who's ever constructed a piece of pottery and then said, "Now how am I going to decorate that?" this video's for you. It can be intimidating to look at that stark clay surface, so I'm going to show you how to make homemade stamps that will not only give you direction to solving your problem, but can offer you a lot of variations as well. My first challenge was how to make the stamp forms. The way I approached this was to start with cookie cutters. The metal is bent already into interesting shapes, and over the years I've collected a lot of them. I started with a 1/2 inch slab of clay, enough depth so in the end my fingers can grip the stamps easily. I found several ways to make the stamp forms. First is simply to make the stamp exactly as the cookie cutter's designed. For instance, if you want a heart-shaped stamp, this cookie cutter's perfect for the job. Now here's a tip for you. I found the smaller cutters stick to the clay. You can try cornstarch on the cutter, but another way to go is to only push the cutter down halfway, then slowly pull it back up. Now you can gently pull the cut edges back and use an X-Acto knife to cut the excess clay away. As you may not have a cookie cutter with the shape that you want, you can alter your cuts and make your own. Let's say I want a fan shape. I started with the head of this gingerbread man cutter. I marked a slight line down the very center. I lined up the curved part of the cutter along the side of the circle and the bottom of the middle line, then cut away the left side of the bottom. I then measured straight across the circle from that top cut edge and marked it. I lined up the bottom and the side marks with the circular cutter and cut that away. And there's your fan. You might also find interesting shapes if you dissect the original cutters, like this Halloween cat cutter. The head is a very interesting shape. I marked out where I wanted to cut the excess clay away, then trimmed it down with an X-Acto knife. This shape could be a tulip flower, an umbrella, a beetle body, a shield, anything. If you don't have any cookie cutters, Jim came up with this idea of using a miter box. He placed a piece of wood along the bottom. He put a 3/4 inch slab with a flat side on top of that and lined it up against the miter box wall. He wanted to make a perfect rectangle the size of this old wooden block, so I traced the shape to the clay. He found this drywall taping knife to cut away the excess clay. He lined up the clay to the slot on the yellow wall. Then I cut it like a guillotine. I kept cutting and turning until all the edges were done, so I got a perfect rectangle. And here are some of the forms we created. We let them dry to leather hard. Now it's time to carve a design into them. I like to start with pencil lines of where my cuts will be going beforehand. Your designs can be simple if you prefer, but I want to show you that it's possible to carve more intricate designs too. The way I like to do it is to use these ball tools. They come in a variety of head sizes, so making even tiny precise designs can be done. Remember, the clay is a cheese hard, so it holds its shape when you carve the tool into the line. I like to make a shallow first pass on delicate edges and then do a deeper cut once I have an established mark. Notice that I switched to a bigger head size for wider gouges, like the inside of these teardrops. When the stamp is totally dry, bisque fire it or glaze fire it to make it stable. Here's one that I made earlier. Jim had a bit of a different approach to his designs. He likes a more random pencil line design, which is a great idea for those who are intimidated to draw on something so small. He likes to top off the design with random dots easily made with the tip of the tool. And here's one that he made earlier that's been bisque fired. In fact, Jim and I made a bunch of different stamps and fired them and played around with different ways we could use them together. I'll show you one of my favorite designs that I came up with. I started out with a soft 1/4-inch slab cut into a roughly 8-inch tall rectangle. I want this pattern at the bottom of my slab, but if I stamp the surface along the bottom, the clay will displace and I'll end up with a wavy edge. Instead, I place a ruler along the bottom edge for clearance and to use as a straight edge guide. I like to start in the center and work my way out to both sides. I lined it up along the straight edge and began stamping. Now it's a matter of moving the stamp over and lining it up along the previous stamp. I can make a nice straight cut along the bottom of the slab and remove the extra clay. Let's use the fan-shaped stamp that I carved. Again, I gently placed the ruler along the line where I want to stamp, which was right over Jim's stamp, and I worked my way from the center to each side. I then created a row right over top of the first row as the fans fit right into the crevices. I felt like those blank arches needed a little bit of something, so I used the end of a bamboo stick to create little circles around its perimeter. Since there is so much detail at the bottom of the slab, I wanted to go simple in the middle section. I lined up an L square along the bottom edge of my slab and protected the top edge with a ruler, then pressed a bamboo skewer from each fan center up to the top ruler. Now to decorate the top border. I like the intricate pattern of Jim's stamp, so I lined it up along the ruler-edged line and stamped it. It looks like a delicate filigree to me, perfect for this pattern. I thought I needed just a little something to move your eye back down to the bottom of the slab, so I used this sort of elongated heart shape which acts almost as an arrow, drawing your eye down and back up. I added a few more dots from the end of my bamboo stick under the hearts to echo the dots that I made earlier. I cut away the excess clay at the top and the displaced clay along the sides. There are a number of things you can construct with this slab. One idea is to make an oval container. If you want to see the instructions for that, click on the link in the upper right-hand corner to one of our videos giving you detailed steps on how to bevel your edges, add a bottom, and reinforce your joints. The best part is that there's no limit to the shapes you can make, the designs you can carve, and the patterns they can create to come up with elegant designs. Thanks to the newest members of our Little Street Pottery Research Facility team. If you'd like to join the team and earn a title, click on the Super Thanks button or the link to buy me a coffee. In any case, we invite you to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time in the studio.